Can you imagine? I don't know, have we ever seen like a Toho game in one of these? Not like an actual Toho, I mean like a fan-made Toho game. Could you imagine though, like having official Toho stuff on Switch or something? I don't think Soon would ever do it because he's kinda... let's be honest, he's kinda lazy as fuck. Embodiment of Scarlet Devil remake. That's a sentence that I never thought I would say. Completely unexpected. It's something that almost seems ridiculous, like Su would never decide to go back and redo one of his games. And now it's here, it's a real thing that exists. What a time to be alive. Did this need to happen? Couldn't we just have gotten a re-release of the original game? Well, being that Sun is on record mentioning that the source code for these early games is lost, and with all the compatibility issues and missing features that EOSD has, yeah, I'd say this was the only way. If there's any Toho game that truly needed a remake, it's this one, and well, now we will have it. Now certainly, this project, this Toho project if you will, seems to not be a direct work from Sun alone, but rather a collaboration between people from various circles under the collective name Shanghai Alice Reprise. The idea seems initially came from Unabara Iruka from Twilight Frontier and Junya, who just apparently decided to start recreating the game and got Sun's approval to see it to completion and release it to the public. So I have to assume that he was at least overseeing the project, and of course from the trailers we know that he rearranged every single track from the OST. I'm sure some people are gonna still prefer the originals, I myself might be one of those because again, there's just a special sauce to that music that makes it rather unique from his other work. But I am very curious about how he handles it with his current style and knowledge, especially from the little snippet of Chinese tea we can hear in the trailer, which I think sounds very good already. That said, the original music will be available as an option, which I'm happy about. It seems this remake will have other such options to grant an experience that's as close to the original as possible. Of course, it would be better to just have the original get a proper re-release, but seeing as that's seemingly impossible, I'll take this compromise. Especially since this is about to be the most accessible official Toho game out there, available both on PC through Steam and on Nintendo Switch, which is just wild to me. It will also feature translations into multiple languages that are, as far as I know, handled mostly by fan translation groups. This is a huge fucking deal, to not only have an official localization in English, but in multiple other languages, including Latin American variants, which of course I'm very happy about. And this is something that I've been saying should have been the case for a while now. Like, you already have translations right there done by people who really care about your work and want to get it right. You can just make them official with a few calls. Why are you not doing it? I really doubt that this is gonna become the trend as much as I wish it did, but if anything, I'm glad there'll be at least one game that got it right. Some things from the English translation I noticed are different than what you might be used to. Fantasy Seal seems to use the modern translation Dream Seal, Chirino's theme is Love Struck Tomboy, and Ginsoku is actually romanized properly, at least in the trailer, which I will let that one slide because it's objectively correct. The moment I have to see Innate Dream in an official translation, I'm probably gonna have a breakdown, but for now I'm okay with this. The art is definitely gonna take a while getting used to. I've already seen some discussion about if it was AI generated, especially with the whole Fossilized Wonders fiasco still fresh in people's minds. I myself thought it was just upscaled from the originals at first glance. That doesn't seem to be the case though. These are just very faithful recreations of the original art, made by the circle Aquastyle actually, who you might recognize from Genso Wanderer and Dame Kokagura. Which is damn impressive really, like comparing them side by side, there's just so much attention to detail when it comes to trying to keep them pretty much intact, just with a new coat of paint. Again, it does look a bit weird, I think we were never meant to see EOSD art in high definition, but somehow it still does keep the charm the original had, I think. They even touched up some details about them, even fixed the proportions on like Melenx's portrait, that was one that always looked a bit off, so I'm rather okay with it so far. Iruka, who I mentioned earlier, seems to be the one handling the sprites like they did for Toho 19, and just like in that game, they look great. I'm a big fan of their pixel art, it just fits right in with these games. One of the features is apparently gonna be an Infinite Lives mode, promoted as an accessibility feature for people that just wanna enjoy the game without the stress of having to play a shooter. Now, I know that I criticized this about Book of Star Mythology in my video about that fan game, but really my problem in that case was that it was being highlighted as the main way to play through the game. If it's just an option somewhere else, that's fine by me. And I know that I am heavily biased because it's just hard for me to wrap my head around wanting to remove all the stakes from a video game, but it's true that some people might have trouble with these kinds of games, or it might just be almost impossible for them to play these games, or they just don't want to, who cares? I still think it's good to account for them as well. I do truly believe that any way you can experience the game yourself is gonna be better than just reading through a completely isolated script. I think that's all I wanna say about it for now. Something I do wonder about is if it's gonna play any different, as in, how's it gonna feel to control? Is it gonna be like the original, or like the modern games, or just completely different if someone else is handling the code? Who knows? Also great details showing Icicle Fall on Easy on the trailer, very tasteful. Obviously, I'm very much looking forward to playing it. I'll probably be doing that on my streams on Twitch when it drops if you wanna check that out. I don't know yet if I'll make a follow-up to this with my thoughts on the full game, we'll have to see then. It's hilarious to me, by the way, that it releases on September 9th in the West. You know, that's Cherno Day. 9-9, very funny. Only in the West though, as that falls on the 10th in Japan because time zones, they gave up Cherno Day for us, how nice. I also do wonder, so far the idea seems to just be remaking EOSD, but there's also 2 other games that are presumably lost in the same way. Will they receive a similar treatment eventually? I mean, if this does well, I could see it happening. I have legit been seeing new names, even big names or ones that I hadn't seen in years popping up to talk or draw art of it, so it definitely seems to be grabbing people's attention to an extent. Even if they're not in dire need of an update like EOSD was, I think it would be nice to see Perfect Cherry Blossom and Imperishable Night done in the same style. Though, let's not get ahead here, this by itself is already promising and I'm really just overjoyed that it exists at all. A special thanks to Tier 3 patron and friend Spectre Skirts for supporting these endeavors, and thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, all that helps support the channel, join the Patreon to see future videos earlier and get access to some exclusive updates, and stop by my streams on Twitch if you have the time. I go live every week, Monday and Friday. See you next stream!